Hey everybody, I thought that I would make a quick video for you to help you understand exactly what it is I'm looking for Module 15. I've already had a couple people ask me questions, so I figure if some people have questions, maybe more of you have questions. So let me see if I can simplify this for you. You have three things that you've been asked to pay attention to in Module 3. So we're going to go over each of those three things that you will need to address in your answers right now. Those three things are: one, how do we evaluate an individual volunteer? How do we evaluate a volunteer program, the whole program? And three, how have you evaluated this course and its benefits to you? So let's just dive right in. Part A, how will you evaluate a volunteer? All right, so first I want to remind you that you can't just dive into this. You've got some reading materials, some assigned materials, a bunch of samples of evaluations and so forth. In order to do all three of these parts, you will need to remember before you dive in again to go ahead and review all the materials I've given you. So let's assume that you've done that. You've reviewed the materials. Now, you remember the job description that you wrote for Module 5, you're going to need it. I think some of you wrote more than one, but just pull one, find it, you're going to need it. Okay, now review the sample volunteer evaluation forms that are part of the Module 15 materials. There's going to be a bunch of different forms, and they're going to approach evaluating individuals a little bit differently. And I want you to pick and choose the right concepts and approaches that seem to fit for the job that you created for Module 5. All right, now I'm going to ask you, thinking about Module 5 job description you wrote, thinking about all the things you see in the sample volunteer evaluations form, develop your own volunteer evaluation form to use to evaluate the person you recruited to take the job for which you wrote the Module 5 job description. All right, I need you to tailor the evaluation to the job. Do not just pick one of the sample evaluation forms and convert it. I want you to take what you like from different forms and what seems to fit for this particular job and create your own evaluation form to use for this particular job description. When I look at that evaluation form, I want to clearly be able to see that it was written for that particular job. Okay, now on to part B. How do we evaluate an entire volunteer program? Well, first, you need a program to think about evaluating, and we're going to use the program that the organization that you evaluated for Module 3. So you may want to go back to Module 3 and review what you wrote there, and you might even want to take a little trip to the organization's website and just remind yourself some of the details of their program. Now, in your materials for Module 15, there is something called Measuring Volunteer Program Effectiveness, and you want to look at it. I also gave you a sample completed program evaluation for a program called Within My Reach College Preparatory Center. It's also in the Module 15 materials. I'm pretty sure that I made that up. I might be wrong. It's been so long since I posted it, but I think I made that up. So if I can do it, you can do it. I basically did what I'm asking you to do. All right, so you're going to use the information in the Measuring Volunteer Program Effectiveness materials I gave you, and you're going to take a look at what I did for the Within My Reach College Preparatory Center. And thinking about those things, you're going to draft an evaluation template for the Module 3 organization's volunteer program. You need to tailor that template to the kind of volunteers and the volunteer program you imagine, you clearly don't know, but you're imagining that that organization has. Now, I want to just remind you that you are not evaluating the organization itself. You are actually only evaluating the organization's volunteer program. The organization itself has probably multiple programs, and you just want to do your evaluation for just the volunteer program. Now, let me remind you really quickly, this whole class has been the pieces of a volunteer management program. So your volunteer program evaluation is going to cover things like, do the volunteer jobs that you have help you get to your mission? Do you have job descriptions? Do you clearly understand your jobs and what people are going to do? And have you written job descriptions? How are you going about recruiting? Is your recruiting appropriate to the organization? And so on and so forth. So we're going to do that, and then you're going to turn that in. And it should look something like the Within My Reach College Preparatory Center evaluation, but it will be very specific to your organization. All right, now finally, the third thing, we started with a video, we end with a video. Instead of responding to your cohorts, because we don't have all next week till Wednesday, you're going to do a course summation video. What I'd like you to include in your video is, what was the biggest benefit of this course for you? What were your favorite exercises in this course? And then choose a couple of classmates from whom you feel like you learned the most when you read their work, and tell them why. Tell them why you appreciated them and their work. And then lastly, how will you take the information that you learned in this particular course forward and apply it, either as a volunteer manager yourself or as a volunteer? And that is your video. Now, I want to remind you that this video needs to be not longer than 3 or 4 minutes. So you may want to make a quick outline so that you can follow the outline and not end up digressing all over the place. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email. See you soon on Canvas.